Shalom, Kahala, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Bahashim Kakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them. The Torah is truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push the word in truth and in sincerity, the part of the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, the Akwat that are listening and learning, being a pillar of rest, the 144,000, the 1/3, the hopeful elect of Israel. All right, so yeah, the truth is coming out because we're in the time where you can't hide the truth anymore. This is Jeremiah 49:10. I'm going to read it in the NIV. But I will strip Esau bare. I will uncover his hiding places so that he cannot conceal himself. His armed men are destroyed, also his allies and neighbors, so there is no one to say. Okay, King James, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay, one more before we watch this video exposing the whole truth. Okay, Mark 4:22. Read it in the NIV. For whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out into the open. In LT, for everything that is hidden will eventually be brought into the open. That's it right there. And every secret will be brought to light. All right, so let's see. The reason that the so-called Israelis have been given carte blanche to commit genocide, right, is because all the killing that the so-called Hamas did and the decapitation of babies, right? Well, now the whole truth is coming out because we're in the time where you can't hide it. And see, this is how these people operate, all right? They'll come with some outlandish story about baby decapitation, which, by the way, as this war progresses in the next few months, that's going to be small. Baby decapitation could be small, right, on the horrifying deeds list, all right? Because things are about to become more despicable than they've ever been since the world began, according to the scriptures. All right, and the men of the Lord will have nothing to do with that. We're going to sit back and watch and narrate like we're doing. All right, including myself, got nothing to do with it. All right, newsflash. What did they say? Fair warning. All right, so let's watch this. Redacted 17 hours ago. This is a smoking gun because if this is true, what they're going to say is the Israelis killed their own people, which led to wherever things are right now, this devil did it. And I mean, we said that as soon as it happened. Like, no, you killed your own people, right? And here it is. So why is Israel trying to hide this hostage interview? What does this say? Hidden, for whatever is hidden will eventually be brought out into the open. Well, let's see. Let's see what's being said here. It's a great interview, too.
There's one official narrative of what happened on October 7th.
Let me get it from the top. Let me get it from the top.
The Israeli government has one official narrative of what happened on October 7th. Of course, the slaughter of 1,400
innocent and babies being decapitated. That's what they're running on. Okay? That's why, number one, the word genocide. Number two, oh, we're going to gas them. You're going to do what? Oh, we're going to gas them. Huh? Genocide and gas? Last person to ever be using these terms openly, right, is Amalekites. And now what we're about to find out, all that gas and genocide and all of that shit, we're in the time of things being exposed. So if any that had anything to do with a lie, if that was, a hoax, as they say, we're going to find out. All right? We're going to find out that it was a hoax. Take it away, Clayton.
Israelis at the hands of Hamas.
Let's start
But
it again.
The Israeli government has one official narrative of what happened on October 7th. Of course, the slaughter of 1,400 innocent Israelis at the hands of Hamas. But now, startling new testimony is starting to emerge that may change what we understand about that day. This could trouble a lot of people. Dan Cohen is the founder of Uncaptured Media, a filmmaker, the documentary Killing Gaza, with some of these new startling revelations. Dan, welcome back to the show.
Hey, great to be with you, Clayton.
So, what testimony has started to emerge from Israelis that could shed new light on what happened that day?
Well, in the days after the events of October 7th, an interview with a survivor of the kibbutz Be'eri, the Israeli kibbutz Be'eri, where many people died, gave an interview in Israeli media. And she said, she was very clear that, and repeated in her interview, that Israeli hostages were killed by Israeli gunfire, perhaps in a firefight between the Hamas fighters and Israeli military, but that it was Israeli military bullets that actually killed them.
בגינה של האנשים מהקיבוץ שיש 5 בני ערובה ששוכבים או 6 על האדמה בחוץ, ממש כצאן לטבח מול הירי של הימ"מ שלנו והמחבלים.
הטרוריסטים ירו בהם?
לא, הם נהרגו מהחילופי ירי, תבין שהיה חילופי ירי מאוד מאוד קשים.
זאת אומרת, יכול להיות שזה כוחותינו ירו בהם?
חד
כשניסו
משמעית.
לחסל את החוטפים, את
הם חיסלו את
החמאס?
כולם, כולל בני ערובה, כי היה שם חילופי ירי מאוד מאוד קשים. אני משוחררת בסביבות השעה 5:30, ב8:30 כנראה מסתיימת הלחימה, אחרי שהיה חילופי אש מטורפים, אפילו 2 פקלבים של טנק שירו לתוך הבית, זה בית קיבוצי קטן, זה לא איזה, רואים את זה בחדשות,
כן.
זה לא מקום גדול. וברגע הזה כולם נהרגו, היה שקט חוץ מצולה אחת שיצאה הדס דגן, וזהו, וגם.
איך כולם נהרגו?
מהחילופי אש.
מהחילופי אש, כלומר יכול להיות שגם זה מאש כוחותינו?
חד משמעית.
כן?
וככה אני מאמינה.
אוי, זה נשמע כל כך רע.
כן, וכולם מתו.
So
Crazy. And there it is. Smoking. That gun is smoking right now. All right? And now they're going to go even further to say that it's part of their policy, right, to kill everybody, which is what they're doing, regardless of any hostages in Hamas right now. They're over there like, oh, no, we're finna bomb. Fuck the hostages. All right? And that's what the lady just said, right? Everyone died because that's their policy. What do they call it? Jericho or what is it? This guy, Samson. The Samson, whatever. They'll say it. Here we go.
So that interview was actually censored by the Israeli government in order to prevent it from getting to the Israeli public.
So they hid it. And now what? It's coming out. Because we're in that time. We're in the time of things that are hidden being exposed. All right? And what is this going to do? When people find out about this, it changes everything. Now their reason for committing genocide has fallen apart. It's not even there. Okay? That is going to infuriate the world because the world is already on fire with that bullshit story in place. It's already on fire. It's only going to infuriate them even more.
Which had basically been through this shock and awe propaganda campaign to convince them that everything that just happened on October 7th was purely a Hamas terrorist attack, that Hamas is worse than ISIS, and so there can be no negotiation, and the only answer is to obliterate Gaza, and whatever happened in those horrible scenes on that horrible day of October 7th is purely the fault of Hamas and has nothing to do with Israeli military tactics or strategy or decisions that were made either on the fly that day. Now there has been another article that came out in the Israeli liberal magazine Haaretz, in which it cites an Israeli military figure who was there. There is one who was in a bunker near Gaza, who was trying to call in airstrikes on this kibbutz, of course, which would have killed everybody. That did not happen. However, what did happen is another Israeli commander who was on the scene actually ordered his men, his soldiers, to open fire on everyone in these houses. So the Hamas militants were inside these houses with Israeli hostages, under the belief, apparently, that because they have hostages, they'd be able to get back into Gaza, as others had. But the Israeli military, this commander, and we don't know how high up this decision-making goes, decided, no, we're going to kill everyone in here, including with use of tank shells. This is according to this Haaretz article. So, I mean, what actually happened, clearly, is the Israeli military said, we are not going to negotiate with Hamas at all, and we're going to kill everyone here, including our own people. And this has been pretty much hidden from the Israeli public as best as possible, with the censorship of that interview. Yasmin Porat is the survivor's name, and but now that has been published in Haaretz. So, I mean, it raises way more questions about what actually happened, not only in Be'eri, but in other places too, where many Israelis were killed. And that's not to say that Hamas did not kill people. Definitely that happened. But Israel apparently clearly killed its own people in order to avoid negotiations.
So a couple of questions here, right? Because immediately people would say, well, obviously, all right, well, come on, Dan, this has got to be friendly fire, right? That it was probably friendly fire. And in the scuffle of the moment, the Israeli military dealing with Hamas terrorists, which just invaded and were carrying out this brutal attack, that yes, clearly there was going to be people killed accidentally, that it would have been friendly fire. How do they address that piece of it?
Well, look,
And over the whole world rose a clamor of hysterical joy.
World War I promised us a perpetual peace, and it failed. World War II then was the ultimate laboratory of death.
The last ounce and the last inch of effort.
It told us in 1945 what we should have known in 1939. It took 65 million deaths to prove what should have been self-evident.
The stakes are the stakes of human freedom, which depends upon a view of human nature and the government that's appropriate to that.
Poland and the world learn the meaning of a grim new word. Blitzkrieg.
How we are to live and why we are to think we should live that way. And that battle still goes on.
Fencing tank, the attackers.
When we say World War II, that cannot be an abstraction. That has to translate into a guy in a Bf-109 or somebody in an American submarine in Tokyo Bay. The point being is that this war was unique in that there were so many theaters, there were so many ways of fighting it, that it's almost incomprehensible. Let's begin.
Ready to start eating healthier? Meet Kachava. Kachava is the world's healthiest all-in-one meal shake. A complete meal in seconds. to keep you going for hours. It's made with over 70 plant-based superfoods and nutrients, giving you all your essentials in one delicious meal. Cheers!
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, that's yummy.
Thank you. Just water, 2 scoops, blend and go. Putting you in control of your nutrition to improve your well-being, to fuel your body and mind. Only the highest quality plant-based ingredients. Made for health-conscious people on the go. It's a simple.
Salaki, I had an emergency. Salaki about the commercial, so let me see where we're at with this. We'll keep it going.
According to this Haaretz article, and I'll just read exactly what he says. This is according to Nir Hasson, the Israeli journalist. He says, and he's quoting a resident of the Be'eri who survived. He says, after commanders in the field made difficult decisions, including shelling houses with all their occupants inside in order to eliminate the terrorists along with the hostages, did the IDF complete the takeover of the kibbutz. The price was terrible. At least 112 Be'eri people were killed. So there's also another part of this article there's another one on October 11th that that quotes a guy named Erez, a deputy commander, and he says they fought inside the kibbutz from house to house with the tanks. We had no choice. So they're actually firing tank shells. It's not as if there was, I mean, there was clearly close combat, and maybe some of them were killed by friendly fire, in combat, in gun battles between Hamas and the Israeli forces, and that seems to be what Yasmin Porat, the first one to come out and give her testimony, was describing. However,
so she came out and said that it was friendly fire. Or that's what she was describing.
She was saying that yes, that Israelis were killed by Israeli gunfire, not that the Israeli military decided pure only to kill their own people, but so basically at first what we learned from her testimony is that best case scenario is that it was friendly fire, in a clash between the two sides. But later with the publication of these other articles, what became clear is the Israeli military made a decision in the field to kill everyone there using tank shells and just opening fire on the houses where Hamas was holding these hostages.
Now, I believe that it was all part of an orchestrated plan. When they found out, for example, from Egypt and others, that there was an invasion planned, then they made their own plan. Said, we're going to let them in. We're going to turn our backs. We're going to send this protection unit away, let them come in. And when they do come in, we're going to come and kill a whole bunch of people, right, including our own. Then we're going to have a reason to go in and commit this genocide. That's clearly what happened, all right? And it's all going to come out. You get mad and say what the hell you want to, all right? But it's all going to come out. There's one more. Where's the Samson option? Salaki, I'm going to let that.
We have to look at this in context of something called the Hannibal Directive.
Hannibal Directive, okay? The Hannibal Directive. What the fuck is that? Well, we're about to find out. It goes into, well, if you have a hostage, just kill everybody, right? Because we're not negotiating. Well, that's what they did. And that's part of their policy long before this so-called invasion took place. They've been doing it for years, the Hannibal Directive. All right? This is their policy, to kill everybody, including their own. And apparently that's what they did out of their own mouths. The lady broke it down, She said, I was there. Here's what happened. Okay, and that's the truth coming out. That came out on one of their television shows, and what did they do? They hid it. And they moved on with babies were decapitated. Well, who decapitated them? If you're out there killing your own people, it's not a stretch to say that you decapitated the baby to bolster your bullshit lie about a reason to go in and commit genocide. It just makes sense. All right? And I'll prove it out of the scriptures in a minute.
Is an Israeli military procedure to kill any Israeli soldier taken captive by enemy forces. So in 2014, this was implemented in the 51-day war on Gaza in the southern city of Rafah, where Hamas had managed to take captive an Israeli soldier named Hadar Golden. And when that happened, the Israeli military used the full might of its force and bombed this area massively, killing Hadar Golden, so their own soldier, as well as well over 100 Palestinians at the same time.
So they don't give a damn about collateral damage.
This became known as Black Friday among Palestinians. So this is the Hannibal Directive, and I think what we saw in Be'eri, where this occurred on October 7th, is the very same logic as what happened in 2014, the Hannibal Directive.
That's all we need, all right, because this is getting long. Slovakia about the interlude. Now let's get this. We're going to prove who we're talking about here. Was that not murder? Did they not lie about it? Murderer. From what? The beginning. Let's break Esau down and then we'll go ahead and close. John 8:44. Ye, Amalek, ye Esau, are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer, so are you, like your daddy, from the beginning, and abode not in the truth. So here you have murder and then lying about it to cover it up, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. There you go. And it's all going to come out. All your lies are going to come out. Okay? There it is. What they do? Oh, well, they murdered their own people, right? And then they lied about it. Now we get to go murder whoever we want to and take their land. This is our final. You know what they call this? The final solution. Okay? Let's get this real quick. Let's see what this brings up. 11 days, we need more. Facing the terrifying. There's a thing going on where this guy is bringing out, well, they're about false flag. Where was that? Oh, here it is right here. You know what? It's this guy. It's Clayton again. Where's Clayton? Yesterday. Clayton false flag, right? Watch this. This is crazy. All right, where is it? Yesterday. Where's Clayton? Yeah, I watched a little Green Day today. Where is Clayton with the yesterday? Here we go. With the false flag. Here it is, right here. Right here. Now, listen to this. How can a so-called Israeli let the word gas come out of his mouth? Right? And here you are openly committing genocide, and it's clear, right? And I don't care about no Palestinians either. I'm just saying what's going on is what's going on. It's called genocide in front of everybody's face. When you claim that's what happened to you. But now you want to gas, right? You want to use gas when you claim that's what happened to you.
Money.
Slovakia, bear with me, and then we'll end this. This is just crazy. Listen to this.
Would be about to see a major false flag operation coming out of Israel into the Gaza Strip. The Israeli government, of course, knows that a ground operation, a massive ground operation, would be devastating to the Israeli army, going through tunnels that are booby-trapped, all sorts of incendiary devices. It would be an absolute disaster. That's why over the past 24 hours, we're hearing some bizarre rhetoric now showing up in mainstream media and coming from mouthpieces of the Israeli government that Hamas may be preparing chemical weapons, and therefore it would be justified to go into the Gaza Strip and launch a chemical attack of their own using gas to push through these tunnels. Here is the son of one of Hamas's co-founders on Fox and Friends. This is Mossab Hassan Youssef. He joined Fox and Friends, and this was earlier on past week, and now we're hearing it from the Israeli government, suggesting that Israel should explore using gas to get rid of underground tunnels in Gaza. Watch.
Now, keep in mind, all right, you set these lies up, right? A poor me lie. Then you can go do what it is that you're accusing them of doing. The audacity, the caucasity, right? It's just, now, and if they're doing this now so open and brazenly, it brings into mind what? The Holocaust, right, being used for the same purposes. What did and what did not happen. Because guess what? We're still in the time where everything is going to come to light. If it was a lie, it's going to come out. That's what's happening right now.
And a ground incursion is about to happen. Would you recommend Israel do this? And what will they find when they go in?
Now listen to it. And look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. And he can't even, he's so gregarious, if you will, about his lie. You could see right through it. Listen to this guy. It's fucking fanatic. Listen.
Okay, first of all, we need to evacuate civilians as much as we can. You know, this is an ugly war, and Israel did not start it. Hamas did. First of all, we need to encourage civilians to go into Egypt, possibly women and children, maybe men over 50 years old.
Basically, he's saying, we're taking the land. We're stealing the land. And performing a genocide if need be. Get the fuck out of our land. We're stealing it. Right?
These need to get out of the picture. You know, then the strip need to be cut two pieces, north and south, two parts. The northern part, this is where most of the tunnels are. We need to have a solid siege, okay, for long enough to deplete the enemy and
starve them out. Listen.
Starve them.
And starve them. Listen to this. Listen to this devil. He don't even know he's telling on himself.
Siege, okay, for long enough to deplete the enemy and to starve them. After that, we may need to explore using gas. This is like, sounds horrible, but I don't see any other option. The tunnels are interconnected, and gas could be one of the solutions, but this...
How could any so-called... And they're using, Holocaust survivors were killed. Holocaust survivors were taken... But wait, now you're talking about using gas? How? How does that come out of your mouth? In your zeal to commit genocide, which that's what the story was, right, in World War II. But now, who's the culprit? Who's doing it? Okay? It's not adding up. Truth is about to come.
Has to be in the right time.
So are we about to see a false flag operation unfolding right before our eyes? Larry Johnson, former member of the CIA, joins us now. I thought Larry would be perfect to talk about how you lay the groundwork for a false flag. And
okay, now what they're about to speak about is what happened with Erdogan, what's his name, over in Syria, where they tried to say he gassed his own people. Remember that? Okay, he gassed his own people, so Obama was setting up, oh, well, we're going to go gas them because they gassed their own people. It's just ridiculous. Okay? And it's 2023. Bullshit. The jig is up. You can't run them same games no more.
As journalists, it's important for us to sound the alarm bells here and to dig into the truth behind this. Larry, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Clayton. Good to be with you.
So when you see this, and you see what the Israeli government has been saying over the past 24 hours, that Hamas may be preparing chemical weapons. I mean, my immediate flashback is to Colin Powell holding up a vial of anthrax, telling us that we need to go after Saddam Hussein because of weapons of mass destruction. And I'm seeing like flashbacks here. Am I wrong about that?
Well,
here it is, the Vanish holster, the world's most comfortable holster.
Damn it. This is a play, out of the play.
Let's go to a more recent example. 10 years ago in Ghouta, up in Syria, there was supposedly a sarin gas attack by the government of Syria. And it wasn't by the government of Syria. It was by British intelligence, CIA, working with Syrian rebels. They're the ones that did it. They staged it. It was staged through a group called the White Helmets. And the purpose of that false flag then was to give the United States justification to cross the red line, as Barack Obama had said, that they would go use military force. U.S. military would intervene in Syria. Fortunately, it was exposed that really was not true. But nonetheless, the message got out there. So I think you put your finger on it. They are leaking this information now about, oh, Hamas has got chemical weapons. Therefore, we're going to need to use chemical weapons in return.
He's about to break down how they can't have chemical weapons, okay, because of the procedure that it takes to refine chemical weapons, right, that Hamas just doesn't have. Okay? No. Oh, well, the Syrian, Iranians gave them to me. You can say anything to go commit genocide, and you will. You're a murderer and a liar from the beginning. All right? So play a little more of this.
And they're laying that to the groundwork to justify what they're going to do because they realize their only hope of trying to weave their way through that maze of tunnels and underground bunkers that Hamas has constructed is perhaps to try to use poison gas to flush them out. But, you know, the irony factor here of Israel, a nation established in order to provide safe haven from people who were gassed in the gas chambers of Auschwitz and Treblinka, are now using gas to eliminate and destroy Hamas.
It is remarkable. I mean, to think about the irony of that, right? That here Israel would consider using this. So Hamas fighters, according to President Herzog in Israel, in an exclusive interview with Sky News, saying Hamas fighters were carrying instructions on how to make chemical weapons. I guess when they were captured. That to me sounds like the biggest crock of bullshit I have heard in a long time. That they're literally carrying recipes and we just happen to find them. I mean, come.
We when the towers came down and the buildings exploded, we found their passports right there at the bottom, at the base of the building.
I mean, look.
Yeah. Well, they left a recipe for hummus at home. You know, they had to have something. It's just, I mean, you're right. It's absurd because you don't go around with a quote recipe for a chemical weapon. It's not something that everybody can make. And the reality is, if you're going to actually make a legitimately lethal chemical agent, it has to be handled in an appropriate way so that you don't kill yourself while creating it. So this is not the kind of thing that just your average Hamas fighter is going to have in their possession. You're right. That's one of the ways that you identify a false flag when something that's really so absurd and out of the normal pops up and it's being touted as evidence.
Stop it right there. Let me get this picture I've been trying to take. I'm failing. So this is going to be thumbnail. Bear with me. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go back here. If you understood everything that was just said, all we got to do is read this. Okay. Ye, this is John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer. You want to go and kill everybody. Genocide. From the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Okay? How dare you try to turn around and say gas, right? They said that in this interview. Said, how ironic that you would even let gas come out of your mouth when you claim that that's what happened to you. Huh. Did it? With that, we hope that the elect were edified. Sorry for going so long, Salakia. You brothers and few sisters, with that, shalom.